Hello, good morning. It is this week's installment of Your Money Matters. I'm Kurt Jackson, retirement income strategist with KJ Financial. This week I found an article in the New York Post, and one of the things that I've never been a big fan of is more government control, more government oversight. And more recently, the White House is looking to try to come in and in the government's how the government always says they're doing it is they're trying to help us, but they're trying to get into more regulation in the 401k, 403b, 457, the employer-based retirement plans, really any type of retirement plan, qualified plan that is under the government's purview. In fact, kind of starts out this. It says the article is titled "White House Looking to Creep into 401ks," and it says last Monday, Senator Elizabeth Warren, at his side, President Obama attacked Wall Street again for essentially helping in what the federal government and business can no longer provide, and that's a decent retirement. Now, that's part of the article that I actually agree with. Basically, what they're trying to do is right now. There's two different standards in the industry. There's a fiduciary standard, which means that the advisor is supposed to act in your best interest, and then there is a suitability where for more commissioned type advisors, and that's how I work. I'm paid based on commissions for us to have to make sure that the vehicle or the place we put your money is suitable for you. Okay, but the thing with suitability is, you could have a type of product that is, or a strategy that's suitable, but it doesn't mean we have to put you in the best one of those products, just a product that fits under that category, which can be at a disadvantage to you. And that's one of the reasons why I became an independent independent insurance broker, because that way I can deal with just about every company out there except for the captives. And the reason I wouldn't want to be a captive is because typically their products aren't as competitive as where I can go find on the market that's not in a captive, because they have to be more competitive. Because in a captive, like a New York Life or a Mass Mutual or Northwestern Mutual, those type of things, they're typically going to have to sell their products. So they don't really, when the companies design those products, they don't necessarily have to be that competitive with the rest of the world. They just need to be, because they're making they're forcing the hand of their people to sell their type of product. So the suitability thing's a joke. In my opinion, so is a fiduciary. And this is why. Now, okay, there's good people out there that are acting in your best interest. The problem I have is that a lot of the times, or I think that almost all the time, the line of thinking that they're coming from the fiduciary standpoint is flawed. It's not in your best interest. They may totally 100% believe that it is, but the research that I've done and the real world, the reverse engineering we've done with using real world examples shows that it's not working. We are, it's a proven fact. If you think about it, if you want proof of it, 401k has been around since about 1980, so that's what we're 35 years into it. Today's retirees, 14% of today's retirees have more than $250,000 in their retirement accounts. Only 8% have more than $500,000. Okay, does that sound like a plan that's working? It certainly doesn't to me, because if you think $500,000 is going to get you through a retirement the way that you want it to, I think you've got some big surprises coming. So they kind of go into, and they bring up some good points here. Anytime we get the government involved with something, things typically don't work out like they say they will. And the government typically goes into something with, we're just trying to protect you. What was it? Ronald Reagan says the 9 worst words you can hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you." For instance, some new statistics I found from the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, is when they were pitching this to us, they said that it was promising a savings of $2,500 per family. And what happened was the average annual cost of health insurance premium in 2010, when they made this statement that they'd save the $2,500, was $13,770. Today it's $16,834, and that's according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. That's a 22.25% increase in just 4 years. Additionally, the average deductible for single coverage jumped from $917 to $1,217. That's a 32.71% jump. And keep this in mind with the Obamacare deal. If you're a family and got family coverage, you could have a deductible up to $12,700. You got to pay your premiums and the deductible before insurance would kick in. That's not affordable in my book. And if it is in your book, then why don't you come on video with me and let's argue that point, because I can't imagine anybody believing that makes it more affordable. Dodd-Frank came in. The Dodd-Frank bill came in after 2007 to 2009 collapse. And one of the things that kills me with that is one of the biggest things that brought us down in 2007 to 2009 were derivatives, which are basically bets that are made on everything. And a lot of that in that derivative pool were subprime mortgages. And there were about $600 trillion in derivatives. Okay, keep in mind global GDP every year is around 74 trillion. So you do the math on that. How much more in derivatives than we have than the global GDP? Okay, so we had $600 trillion in derivatives. Dodd-Frank, part of Dodd-Frank was to rein in derivatives. So today we have between 1.2 and 1.5 quadrillion. So they've doubled to up to 150%. Does that sound like Dodd-Frank worked? Dodd-Frank also made a lot of changes to banking. Saw some statistics in here. In 2009, 76% of banks offered a checking account with no minimum balance and no monthly fee. Today, only 38% do. That's according to Bankrate. There's another thing that happened after Dodd-Frank. The minimum account balance to qualify for no-fee checking has skyrocketed to $6,118. That's per the Heritage Foundation. And it's harder for us to get a mortgage today. One of the reasons I got out of the mortgage industry, there were many, but one of them was all the changes they were making. I knew it was not going to be good. You were going to have to work a lot harder for less pay, and that just didn't make sense to me coming out of the 2007-2009 crash. So anytime the government intervenes, it doesn't turn out well. And I'm not talking about just the Democrats or the Republicans. It's everybody. Okay. Anytime you think the government's going to bail you out, in my opinion, you are absolutely 100% certifiably insane if you think the government's going to help out on those types of things. And I always get the argument, well, they've done really well with roads. Really? Have they done really well with roads? Okay, they put them up there, but don't they have to be repaired all the time? Do you think that if a private business who was responsible for taking care of those roads and would have to repair them out of their own pockets, okay, do you think that they wouldn't come up with a better way to put roads in a more efficient manner and last longer? I know they would, because otherwise they would go out of business. How about a prime example in our area here, the St. Joe School District? They've been doling out money to administrators. That's tax dollars. Your tax dollars getting wasted. And that's a government entity doing those types of things. So anytime you think about that, think about how the government is going to do something better, I think you're crazy. Now, I do admit that when private businesses are running it, or government, you still got to watch out for yourself, because there's going to be people out there that are trying to take advantage of you. And that's not just in the private sector. That's in government too. There's people out there always trying to take advantage of you. We've had a lot of trouble. We had in the past several years, we've had a lot of things going on in the Liberty Public School District for those types of, with misallocation of funds and things like that. So you've got to be aware of those things. You've got to have a knowledge base enough that you can protect yourself from these things happening. Don't depend on someone else to do it for you. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to try to keep this a little shorter than I normally do, but my biggest point here is, look, when it comes to retirement, the way the government's telling us to do it, the way that the employers are the plans that we're doing now, the qualified plans, the things that have the government control, you need to get out from underneath that. They're going to be able to make changes to that. The president's budget's already talking about trying to take some things away from the Roth. And the Roth is something that you put in after-tax dollars. It grows tax-free, and you're supposed to have it tax-free in retirement. And they're trying to find ways to maybe find some funds out of that, because they don't like that plan either. They also don't like the plan where we're not paying taxes now and we pay taxes in the future. They're trying to make some changes to that. So the more money you have under the government's purview, under their control, the more at risk you are of big changes happening. So I teach all my clients, let's get all of our money away from the things that the government controls that tells us what we can do, because you don't want to have that controlling partner in retirement. And then when you look at the things that Wall Street's teaching us, you have to have your money in the market at risk, and it's best to avoid taxes today, let it grow without tax deferred and pay taxes in the future. I think that's crazy. Let me ask you this: would you buy a house today with a mortgage that you don't have to repay until, let's say, 30 years from now? Okay, but you don't know what the interest rate's going to be, and it's going to accrue during that time. You don't. Would you do that? No, I don't think anybody would. Well, that's kind of what we're doing with our taxes. We are avoiding taxes today at a known rate to postpone them to a future when we don't know that rate. And we're also supposedly saving money on saving taxes on a very small amount of money to have it grow into a great big amount of money, and then let us pull a much bigger amount out, okay, at a supposed lower tax rate, which the only way this can be a lower tax rate is if you have less income, or the tax rates are lower. Do you think the tax rates are going to be lower in the future? I certainly don't. I don't know how. I can't imagine any scenario where it is with the deficits that we're running. So you're supposedly saving taxes today on a small amount of money to build a huge amount of money, hopefully, to take a big income and pay taxes on all of that then. Does that make any sense at all? It doesn't to me. Unless you're going to live a very short time in retirement. And if that's your retirement plan, then, I don't know why you bother even watching something like this. So that's where I'm coming from today, folks. If you'd like to talk about how to safely, smartly, more efficiently build your retirement, I'd love to have those conversations with you. You can call me. The number's up there on the screen. Call me on my direct line or email me. We can certainly set that up. There's also a link on there that shows what the email or the address is to schedule an online appointment. We call it our Smart Retirement Strategy Session. It's a free, no cost, no obligation, 15 to 30 minute meeting online where I kind of go over and show you at least one of our strategies. If you like that, we'll run the numbers for you. If you don't like it, that's fine. There's no cost or no obligation. If you like what we have there, we'll run the numbers for your specific situation. See if you like it, and if you like it, then we'll move forward and see what you want to do. And that'd be part of it's a big part of most all of the strategies that we utilize with our clients. So if you have any questions, feel free to call or email me. If you have any topic ideas you'd like for me to do on these, let me know. I'm just trying to pick things out of the news that we should know about and then kind of give you my slant on them. That's what these are for. So I know they're going from 10 to 15 minutes. This one's going to be a little less than 13, so I'm a little shorter than what I have been because I've been kind of pushing that envelope of 15. Apologize for that, but I kind of get gabby. I apologize. So everybody have a great week, and if like I said, if you have any topics you want to hear, let me know, and we'll try to work those in. Hope you all have a great week. Talk to you next week.